In this tutorial, we will have a look how we can make this player run animation clip and this jump animation clip, as you can see. So we're gonna have a look. And before I jump into this tutorial, I want to thank ShioriPlayz and Rajat Sharma for donating on Patreon and YouTube. And if you guys want to do that, then you can do so on Patreon as well as on YouTube. You can do that, and by that you will unlock many benefits such as early access to new content, project source code, and so much more. And I also have amazing courses on Udemy. Make sure you check that out. I will have a link in the description, so make sure you check that out. So without furthering any delay, let's dive into this. To make the player animation, let me show you first. So if I just click on this play button in the top, you will see this player will just gonna play this animation clip. Basically, it's not gonna play any animation clip. It will stack in this sprite, as you can see. So let's have a look on it. So I already click on that play button in the top, so have a look on it. And as soon as our game start, we can see players stack at one frame or one individual sprite. So let's get out of play mode. To make the animation, what we basically need the animation tab first and animator tab. To get that, we'll move over to window in the top, then go to animation in the bottom, and we can see the shortcut key is Control 6. So you can just simply press down that, so it's gonna bring up the animation tab as well as animator tab. So I'm gonna drag the, let's toggle it, click over here, and I'm gonna toggle it in the bottom. Let's toggle it over here, somewhere over here. And we also need the animator tab, so let's go to window in the top one more time, animation, animator, and let's drag this one in the bottom somewhere over here. And to make the animation, we're gonna select our player to game object first in the hierarchy, and we can just click on this create button. But before we do, or basically create the animation, we need to do some settings in our sprite of this player game object. So I'm gonna move over to my project tab, then assets folder, and then I'm gonna move over to sprites folder, and I will move over to player folder and then yellow folder. And I can see I have the sprite sheet over here. So let's select the sprite sheet one more time, then go over to inspector and make this pixel per unit to 16 a small number, so your sprite just gonna be large in size. And sprite mode, to choose multiples, because as you can see we have more than one sprite. And after doing all of this thing, click on this open sprite editor, and we can see individual sprite, and we need to slice individually. But before we do, if we take a look, we can see it seems blurry. To get rid of that, we're gonna choose filter mode to point of filter in the inspector. And after doing that, let's click on this apply button, and make sure you just go to sprite editor tab. In the top left you can see slice, so just click there, select automatic to grid by cell count, and count how many columns and rows it has. So we can see one row and six column, I guess. So we're gonna put six columns and one row. After doing that, let's click on this slice and then click on this apply button in the top right, you can see in your sprite editor tab. Once it's done, I'm gonna select my game view once again, and let's create the animation. So to create the animation, let's create a subfolder for our player animation. So move over to your project tab, then assets, right click, create in the top, and then folder, and you can name that folder to something like animation. I already created a animation folder, as you can see. So I'm gonna create another subfolder inside this animation folder for my player animation. So to do so, let's select the animation folder, let's right click on it, create folder, and I'm gonna name this folder to something like player animation. So let's call this player animation. So basically we just creating a subfolder player animation, as you can see. Now let's move over to hierarchy. Let's select our player 2 or the player game object in the hierarchy, and let's click on this create button in our animation tab, and it's gonna take us a folder in which folder we just want to place our animation. So we're gonna move over to our assets. In assets, we created this animation folder, as you can see. So let's open that up by double clicking on it. And we also created the subfolder, as you can see, which is player animation folder. So let's open that up as well by double clicking on it. And I'm gonna name this animation to player underscore run, because this is gonna be run animation clip of this player. So I will call this one player underscore run, something like that. And let's click on that save button. And now what we have to do, we need to drag all of the individual sprite in our animation tab. But before you do, make sure you just click on this red button in animation tab in order to record your animation, else your animation will not gonna be captured. So let's click on this red button. Let's move over to project tab, assets, and let's move over to our player folder, then yellow folder, basically where we have all of the animation. So I can see over here, let's click on this arrow to see the individual, and we're gonna select all of them by holding down shift, and let's move it over to this animation tab. And we can simply just click on this play button in order to see the animation. As you can see, it seems pretty much fast, so we can just select all of these individual sprites, and we can drag it little bit further away something, and on we can make it 50, I guess. And if we click on this play button, now we can see this is fine. Let's make it small. Let's move it over to something around 25. So let's move to 25 or 24. So we can see 24 or 25 just gonna be perfect, and you can move it over to 20 even. That seems great. So I hope you get the idea that how you can make the animation. And once you're done, you can just click on this red button to just capture the animation, or you can just leave it like that. It's automatically gonna capture the animation. So we're gonna create a second animation. To do so, we can simply click over here in our animation tab, and let's click on this create new clip. And this we will call this animation clip to be jump one. So we're gonna call this player underscore, let's call this player underscore jump, and let's click on this save button, save button, and this will be our jump animation clip. So we need to drag the jump individual sprite right over here in our animation tab. To do so, let's select the sprite sheet first, and let's click on this open sprite editor. Firstly, we're gonna make sprite mode to multiple because we have more than one sprite, and let's make this pixel per unit to 16, and filter mode to point no filter, and let's click on this apply button. And let's move over to sprite editor tab. Let's click on this slice in the top left, and let's select from this automatic to grid by cell count. And we can see we have two columns and one row, so we're going to put two columns and one row. Let's click on slice and then apply, and let's select the game view once again. And now we're going to select, make sure you select the player to game object or the player in the hierarchy, and then click on this red button in animation tab, and we can just click on this arrow to see the individual. So let's select both of them by holding down shift, and let's drag it over to this animation tab. And if we click on this play button, we can see the animation. I'm gonna drag a little bit one frame away, so as you can see, so this seems fine. And once we find, we can just click on this red button to capture the animation, or we can just leave it like that. It's automatically gonna capture the animation. And once we done, we can just drag this animation tab, or we can toggle it in the bottom. And if I select my player to game object in the hierarchy or this player, and then move over to animator tab, we can see we have two animation. We have player run and player jump. As you can see, we created this. And let's suppose you don't want this jump animation clip to be loop. So what you can do, you can move over to your project tab, then animation, basically assets, animation, and then player animation. And we can see the clip over here. We have player jump and player run. I don't want my jump animation clip to be loop, so I'm gonna select that clip. Let's go over to inspector, and I'm gonna uncheck this loop time, so the animation will not be loop. So I hope you get the idea that how you can make the animation. But there is a pretty fast way in order to make the animation even faster. So how you can do that, you can simply move over to that folder in which folder you have the assets. So in my case, this yellow folder. So I'm gonna select all of the individual sprite of this player, and then drag it over to this player to game object or this player in the hierarchy right away, and it's gonna make the animation right away. So I'm gonna move over to my assets animation and then player animation, and I'm gonna call this one to something like player underscore run animation clip, and let's click on this save. And do you want to replace? Yes, I want to replace, so let's click on this yes. And now if I select my player 2 and move over to animation tab and then select this click over here in order to select the animation clip, and then click on this play button, as you can see it's even working fine. So that's basically a pretty fast way in order to make the animation. And you can do the same thing with the jump as well. So you can just click on this arrow to see the individual and select all of them by holding down shift from that folder, and then drag it over to in your hierarchy on top of the game object, in which game object you want to make the animation. So in my case player 2, so I'm gonna drag it there in hierarchy. Let's go to animation, assets animation, and then player animation folder, and this will be the jump one. So I'm going to call this player underscore jump, and let's click on save. And I want to replace this one, so let's click on yes. And now if we select our player 2, move over to animation tab and then select this player jump and then click on this play button, we can see the jump animation also playing fine. So I hope you get the idea that how you can make the animation in sprite sheet animation in Unity 6 in a fast way in Unity game engine. So I hope you get the idea that how you can make the animation in a fast way and even lower way, basically dragging one by one. So lastly, thanks for watching this video. I will see you in the next tutorial.